as I stood in prayer in a time of intercession before the Lord, I was praying in the Spirit. And as I was praying in the Spirit, I saw a vision. And what I saw was this enormous battleship. But it was designed as a cruise ship, meaning the size of it was the size of a cruise ship, but its function was clearly a battleship. And I knew immediately by the Spirit that this was representing the kingdom army that was at sea, the Navy, the kingdom army. This function of the kingdom army was scheduled to stop at this island, and I watched people get off, and it is very clear that they had just come from battle, and they were excited to take a time of rest, to go explore the island and relax. And as many of you know, those who have been on cruises, the cruise will set sail in the ocean and have several stops, usually islands and countries along the way. And on the itinerary, usually they give several hours for everyone to get off and to go enjoy the island and explore. And it was the same thing in this picture, in this vision that I saw. And as the people got off the island, everyone went and did their own thing. Some went to shop for souvenirs. Others went to explore the island. Some went to the beach. Some were playing volleyball. Others were just going to restaurants and enjoying their time. But some of the people actually somehow got connected with the people that lived on the island, and even involved in some of the politics and the things that were taking place. I saw riots and marches and fighting for different causes and corruption and all these things that were happening on the island. And it was very clear. And I was watching these different scenes taking place, and the people were really blessed and happy to be taking a much needed rest. And I just knew right by the Spirit that this was really this period of time that we've come out of, as we've had so much spiritual warfare and things to deal with the lockdowns of the countries and the coronavirus and all of the issues that have taken place. Many are battle weary and tired, and they needed a vacation. And that was good. It was a scheduled stop. It was a time for refreshing. It was a time to recharge, refocus, and just take it easy. But as I looked closer, some of the people were just too tired of the battle, and they just wanted to stay on the island, and they really got consumed in the things that they were doing. And as they became more consumed with the things that they were doing, they didn't want to get back on the battleship. And then the call came out, the loudspeaker: return to the battleship. Man your positions. Man your positions. Return to the battleship. And immediately, as this call went forth, the people that I was watching left what they were doing in the middle of it, and they returned back to the port and started to embark to get back onto the battleship. As I was watching the people making their way back to the battleship, many did not hear the call. Many got so consumed in the things that they were doing, in the protests, in the rioting, in the arguments, in the drama, in the he said, she said, and all of the things, the personal stories that they got involved in, that they did not hear the call. They were too far away. They lost track of time. And the call continued to go out. Return to the battleship. Man your positions. And it was clear that the battleship was getting ready to set sail again. And there was only a period of time, a grace period, for the people that didn't hear the original call to make it back before the battleship had to depart. And as we continued to pray about this vision, as I shared it with my team, we got very clear confirmation about what we believe this is saying. We've had a time of rest. We've had a time of vacation. We've had a time to unwind from the battle. For the battle has been serious for many. The battle has been intense, and we needed a rest. But the call is going forth that it's time to get ready. It's time to gear up. It's time to press into awakening and revival. It's time to oil our shields. It's time to put on the full armor. It's time to once again get in position to not miss the call and not miss what the Lord is getting ready to do. I believe we have a very clear instruction from the Lord that it is time to wake up. It's time to get ready. It's time to be focused. In a time of prayer recently, 3 nights I was praying and fasting and seeking the Lord, and He spoke to me about 90 days of righteousness. 90 days of righteousness. 90 days of fasting. On June 21st, there is a solar eclipse called the Ring of Fire. In itself, it's not rare. These things happen, but it's very interesting. When I started to look at this date, and I said, I wonder if we started the 90 days on this date, where would it take us? I plugged it in, and it takes us right to the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah, Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the Jewish year, and the Feast of the Lord that foreshadows the coming of Messiah. Trumpets represent battle. They represent victory. They announce, they sound an alarm. It's a sacred assembly. And I believe that the Lord is calling us into a period of time, 90 days of righteousness. Another very interesting thing that I found as I've studied the number 90, the Hebrew letter who has the equivalent, the numerical value of 90 is the letter Tzadik in Hebrew. The translation for the letter Tzadik, the word Tzadik, means righteous. It stands for righteousness. The Lord had already spoken to me about righteousness. He had already spoken to me about 90 days. But the actual number of 90 represents righteousness. Beloved, He spoke to us at the beginning of Galilee Awakening that there would be 3 main initial sacred assemblies that would prepare the way, and they were Passover, Pentecost, Shavuot, which is the Feast of Weeks, and Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah. We are calling for 90 days of fasting and prayer. 90 days that, yes, we're each looking at what we should fast from. The Lord, I believe, has a mandate for everyone that we can just pray into and just be led by the Spirit. But the main thing that He's highlighting more than anything is the Isaiah 58 modus operandi, the Isaiah 58 fast, where the Lord says, is this what I desire, just one day for you to humble yourselves? No, this is the kind of fast that I want. To loose the chains of injustice, to set the captives free, to clothe the naked, to feed the poor, and to take the homeless into your house, to loose the bonds of injustice. Basically, it is talking about righteousness. He says, if you keep the Sabbath, if you honor me, if you go forth in the fullness of what you've called, what I've called holy, if you will just press into this place of righteousness, then your light will shine forth. And this is what we believe the Father is calling us as a body, to press in to this time of righteousness. It's clear that lawlessness has poured out upon the earth in rioting, in drama, in accusations, in division, in slander, in hatred, in all types of moral issues that have surfaced. And I believe personally that if the body steps in to a place of intentional righteousness, fasting and prayer, we will see a miraculous and supernatural breakthrough. Join us. 90 days of righteousness.